Hello, all. Welcome to study 57 of the Solving Studies to Improve Chess Calculation series. This study is from Louis van Vliet. He was a Dutch chess composer, also a strong player. Just as a curiosity, he was able to defeat Immanuel Lasker just 1 year before Immanuel Lasker being a champion. It's like me being able to say, "Oh, okay, I play one time with Magnus and I beat him." Well, that's really cool. Well, unfortunately, his life was sad on the beginning because he lost both parents with 13 years old. So he need to move to live with his uncle that was in England. That's where he started to learn about chess, and so he started also making some compositions. Then he went to the United States also to live with another uncle. Then he came back and he spent the rest of his life in England. Uh, this is a very interesting study. It's a queen versus queen and queen and pawn versus queen end game. I really enjoy this one. I hope you are going to enjoy it also. As always, if you haven't watched the guide, so you are more prepared to go for the practice. And after the 10-minute countdown, I will see you back with the solution. And here you are. Just one move to win this one. Yes, it needs to be a brilliant one. So many squares. The trouble I have with queens is they can go everywhere. So there are a lot of squares to think about. And here we need to find the precise one, which is queen b4. Brilliant move. There are no others. You can try. And the idea is simple. We are going to have some fun with this one. First, let's see what happens if the queen goes to e8. Well, check, but now we can promote, and we are going to promote with the knight. It's checkmate unless the queen sacrifices, so it's an easy win. So this is great. Good start. But now let's say, for example, the queen goes to f3. Well, here we are going to have some fun. So we first check the king. So the king is forced to come back to g6, to b6, sorry. And now, can you find the right move? I hope you have found the solution for this one. This is going to be really fun. Yes, we sacrifice the queen, and after the queen takes, it's game over because we promote our pawn to the queen. The king moves away, and we take the queen, and it's 1-0. Okay, let's see some more. Well, we are already seeing the team. So if we are going to keep attention, we are going to repeat it. So check, the king comes to the b file, another sacrifice from our queen. Then the queen takes, and then we promote the pawn, and it's 1-0 again. And this is more or less the basic idea. If the queen now goes to d5, well, it seems a bit harder, but check, and then we can sacrifice the queen again. And after the queen takes our queen, we just promote the pawn as we saw, and the king moves away, and then we take back the queen. So we are having fun. Now, it's going to be a bit harder. If the study would end now, it would be already very cool. But of course, there is this move. I think this was not shown in the solution of the original study because maybe this is not so beautiful as the queen sacrifice everywhere. But as we are going to see, it's also interesting, and I think we have also a very interesting finish on this line with another queen sacrifice. Let's see what happens if we check the king. Now, of course, the king comes back to the b file. There's no option. Let's see first what happens if it comes to b5. Well, I'm just going to show one line more or less. We check the king on the b file again. So here we are not sacrificing the queen because it's not the same rank. Okay. But if the king comes back to the a file, well, it's going to be simple. I simply check, the king comes back to the b file, and I will have access to the b1 square, sacrificing the queen, and the same theme arises. So here the king needs to come to another spot. If it goes to c6, we are going to see better when the king comes to b6 instead of b5. So don't worry, we are going to cover it. Uh, eh, well, basically you are seeing that the pin was broken because at the moment I can promote because the pawn is pinned. But the pin is broken if the king goes to c6, so I can promote another queen. Then just a matter of being patient, and the game is going to be very easy. If the king comes to, let's say, to c5, well, then I can bring our king because the king will be blocked on the diagonal. So the black screen will have trouble with that. Well, maybe I can show you that one. Okay, so to be simpler, here the only way is the queen to pin the pawn again, but of course we are able to check the king. The king needs to move to one of the white squares, let's say for example over here, and then I bring my king, and there's no way now black can avoid the promotion, because if the queen comes to check my king, then I simply block it, and then the queen is forced to take, and then next move is going to be a promotion. So over here, the king goes to c4. It's the best. So I check it again. So now see how this is fun. The king can come back to the b file because I will have this same resource. I will have queen b1 check and then force the queen to take my queen, then promote the pawn and then grab the queen, and it's an easy queen end game. So the king needs to come to the side again. If it goes to a dark square, I will have control for my king, and if it goes to the white square, I can promote the pawn. Let's see just one. Let's see what happens over here. Of course, I move my king now, and just look at this situation. The queen can't go to h7. Why? Well, simply because I take the queen. Well, fun. And the queen now gives a data check. Okay, so I come back to the b file, and it's game over because black isn't able to stop the pawn promotion. Of course, black can try to make it harder for us. Let's say go to a3, I promote to a queen, now check. Here I need to go to the corner with the king. So it's just a matter of having some patience. Okay, the king is now in the corner, so I am able to start to bring the second queen after a while. So another check, I block the check. Not many checks available, so only possible on the 8th rank. The queen delivers one, but I now block it with the other queen, and when the last resource from black finishes, I just block it, and it's now game over because I am checking and still attacking the queen. So the queen is forced to exchange, and it's game over. So as you saw, coming back to b5, we have several choices, but this is winning queen and pawn versus queen and game. Let's see if it goes to b6 a bit more in detail. We simply check again. So again, only three possible ways, because if the king comes back, let's say, for example, if the king comes back to a5, I simply check, the king moves, and I have the same sacrifice. The queen takes our queen, I promote the pawn and grab the queen again. So over here, let's say, for example, the king goes, as I told you, we now promote to another queen. So there are no checks anymore. Of course, the king can move away, but then I bring the two queens to protect my king. It's just a matter of not losing our patience and winning. What else? What else? Okay. If it comes to a dark square, well, I simply can bring out my king. So again, the queen blocks because it's spinning our pawn. Otherwise, we can promote. But of course, we are going to use the same technique we saw. Check, now move the king away. The only possible check is on d3, but then I block it and it's game over. And so finally, to end up this one in beauty, let's see what happens if the queen goes to c7. Can you guess it? Yes, it's another sacrifice from our queen, the last one. Queen h2, check. Now I'm forced to take the queen, and now I promote the queen, and then I grab the other queen. I hope you have enjoyed. If you notice, we got a queen sacrifice everywhere. I hope you had fun with this one, and I see you back with future studies again. See you.